All right, wrapped up the East. Let's move on to the North. Surprise, surprise, it was the Bengals last year. We sat here and did this show and did our picks 1 through 4, and nobody had the Bengals. We didn't have the Bengals finishing third, I don't believe, in this division.
If the Ravens didn't deplete like they did, it probably still would have been the Ravens. But
oh yeah, they did definitely stumble hard.
All right, I'm going to jump on this one real quick. I'm going Cincinnati 1. I'm going Baltimore Ravens 2, and I'm going Cleveland Browns, and then I'm going Pittsburgh Steelers. And there's no change in my mind by anyone that is going to change that for me. There's not anything that anyone is going to say on any television program, nothing you're going to say, nothing one of y'all could tweet in this mother. Nobody's going to change that for me right now today. Just like how you said, I don't have nothing on paper that gives me the Dolphins being good this year. Nothing's going to change that 4 lineup.
Who do you got? Who do you got last? The Browns?
No, I got Pittsburgh Steelers last.
Yeah, Pittsburgh, yeah.
And then who's going to be
such a tough call?
And then who's going to be the quarterback for the? Who knows?
We're not even. Yeah,
So you're literally left with the only 2 quarterbacks that played last year on that team that are coming back this year. That's the only. That's what I went with. What else am I supposed to do? Who else am I supposed to pick? Fuck your stats. None of that means anything. What are you talking about? Cincy, Baltimore, and however you want to do the rest of it. Because who's playing for Cleveland right now? Deshaun Watson's lawyer? Who's throwing the rock for Cleveland?
They signed Josh Rosen.
You know, I'm going to stop jumping on Josh. Poor guy. Arizona did him dirty. It is what it is. He went to Miami. Nothing happened. He's going to go to Cleveland and close your eyes. And what do you see? Nothing's going to happen.
He won't see the field. He won't see the field.
It is what it is, man.
I'll chime in.
That's my lineup.
I got the same lineup as Eddie. I'm Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers.
I don't know how you see it any other way.
I got the Ravens and the Browns fighting for second. If both of those teams don't make the playoffs, it's a disappointment for both of those teams.
If Deshaun Watson doesn't play, there's no way Chubb finishes the season.
And I'm not getting into the what ifs with the Deshaun Watson thing. That's just, it's irrelevant at this point in time. I can't. If he plays, he's right there, number 2, if Deshaun Watson plays, I got Cincy, Baltimore, and Cleveland all fighting for first place.
Let me tell you this: you can't name
if Watson plays.
If he plays,
that's the what ifs. You know what I'm saying?
If he plays,
you can't name a quarterback that ever sat out multiple years and won a Super Bowl besides one name. Anybody
that sat out?
Yeah, his last name started with a W.
Carson Wentz.
No, you're silly.
He didn't sit out. He broke his ankles.
Man. He didn't sit out, man. Yeah, his name's Kurt Warner, okay? And he was packing bags.
And he came back for the Cardinals.
Bags at a grocery store when he got a phone call from a Ram head coach, okay? Outside of that, my G, you can't name me a quarterback that sat out multiple years like Deshaun did.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
Even if you say probably best case he misses half of the season, I don't see Cleveland. I mean, I look back at what Cleveland did last year, and they beat one playoff team from last year. They lost to all the others. So you had a healthy team last year. You had a capable quarterback, apparently, with Baker Mayfield, and obviously he had issues down the stretch with the shoulder. But just listen to this real quick. Their wins were against Houston, Chicago, Denver, Cincinnati, Detroit, the Ravens, and they beat Cincinnati again. So they swept Cincinnati, clap on the back. But the other teams, the teams they lost to, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Vegas, Baltimore, New England, Pittsburgh again. They got swept by the Steelers, as bad as the Steelers were last year. They got swept by Pittsburgh. You got the Chargers, Cardinals, KC. Those are all the losses. Those are all playoff teams. So to tell me that they got better in the offseason, which they're great all around the ball, but they're another team similar to what we were talking about with the Dolphins, with the nice defense, and now you got weapons. The guy pulling the trigger. Now, you tell me Deshaun Watson has the offseason and he's coming in fresh this year. Yeah, you're right. They're competing. But to take a year off and then come back halfway through the season too, right. I don't care if he's able to practice with the team in the meantime or not. It's just that's a lot of rust to kick off. And I love Deshaun Watson, but I don't think there's any way that they finish better than third in that division.
The house is stacked against you.
With y'all stacking, but I think the Ravens are a little closer to Cincinnati just because Cincinnati had a couple of key losses that kind of stood out to me. They lost Oklahoma.
Yeah, but so did Baltimore, though. Baltimore lost.
They did, but they got better. They had a hell of a draft.
They're also coming back with, the decimal of injuries that Baltimore had last year.
Decimated.
They were out like 12 starters.
Both their corners,
not the
their
only
whole
team.
running back room
not the only
before
team.
the season started.
So to say they lost, but they're coming in back with all those guys healthy. The Ravens for me are arguably winning the division. I got Cincy because you can't discredit what they did last year.
Yeah.
And adversity and how good Joe Burrow was. And
that's because Wilson, that middle linebacker, is going to come out swinging hammers.
But the Ravens really personally should be the favorite.
I want to agree with you, but the big question to me is that wide receiver room. You're returning wide receivers. The leading target man was Bateman, and he didn't get into the season until week 8. He had 68 on the season. After Bateman, obviously,
they talking about Duvernay's a bust.
Duvernay, I think he's got potential. He's got the build for it. He's good with the ball in his hands, but what can he do? He only had 36 targets last year. Porsche after him, 16. So that's what you're bringing into the season. They must have confidence in it. I still have confidence in John Harbaugh. I like what they drafted with Hamilton on defense, bringing in a little bit more youth.
They're going to be a top 3 run team.
My goodness, once they get...
For sure. You can't take the bad, it's like they had a bad season last year and it was a lot to do with injuries. You can't blame it all on injuries, but they have a bad season. Then you take it into since he went to the Super Bowl, they're clearly, for most people, the favorites for that division. But it's Baltimore is that team. That's the best team in that division. Since he didn't go to the Super Bowl last year, Ravens were the best team in that division.
They were looking very good early in the year. They were. Lamar looked good. They went in there and they throttled KC. They were beating up on people, but somewhere along the midseason, things started to catch up to them, and maybe that was a product of depth. Maybe they had lost too much earlier in the year, and it was coming, this attrition time, and you can only get so much out of Freeman, who's been in the year for league.
It happened to Philly 2 years after the Bowl. It happened.
It happens to teams, so I think that's close. I won't argue with Cincinnati being at the top. I think it's kind of interchangeable for me, but I think both teams are going to the playoffs ultimately.
Yep.
So that's kind of, but both, I would say the Ravens have a bigger question mark on it for me than Cincinnati does. Although Cincinnati lost some key pieces I'm not too happy about. I don't like the fact that they haven't signed Jesse Bates to a long-term deal. I think that's uber stupid. They lost Ojulari. He went to Cleveland. So there were some veteran pieces that you can do without, but this team was not there was a reason why everybody had him at the bottom last year. And Joe Burrow put him on the shoulders. Mixon's a hell of a running back. Jamar Chase lit the world on fire. All that stuff. Yeah. And you got T. Higgins. You lost Azuma. I watched multiple games where Azuma bailed out that offense, picking up first downs, making plays. Now you're gonna take a little bit of a step back there. That's a safety valve, somebody that was trusted very much so by Joe Burrow. They brought in some pieces for the offensive line. I like that. That was huge last year because they were just getting manhandled. And we all talked about it all the time. He can't keep up like this. It's a matter of time. And he actually got caught a little injury when the Rams got after him in the Super Bowl. You could tell he wasn't 100%. But, so they've made some positive things, but they've also taken away some pieces too. So just like I say, Jalen Mills and Malcolm Butler lining up at corner, you still got Eli Apple as your slot starting corner. That's an issue to me. And then if Bates is out in the secondary, that's an issue to me. Now, that's not a pass-heavy division. Granted, I got you. So there's not multiple threats like we were kind of talking about with Buffalo and Miami on the other side. But there are other teams in the AFC, and we talked about it. AFC is super strong, super loaded with talent. So little holes like that, they can add up and they can cost you games. The Cincinnati was pulling out those close games last year.
Right. That's why I have Cincy right on the board.
Multiple games, and that can swing the other way. You know what I mean?
I think they're one and done this year. I think Cincy you have to give them the credit.
Well, we'll talk about the playoffs.
That's why they're at the top of the division for me, in particular. But I think that they're one and done this year. I think it's too tough for them.
I I think it's still possible for them to do what they did, but it's going to take growth. You know, they're going to have to get better. They can't hang their hat on what we did last year. And all last year, running up to the Super Bowl, not a person on that roster seemed satisfied. So if they bring in that same we got unfinished business attitude, Bengals can be trouble just like they were last year to me, because that youth was in the right state of mind. Like, them boys were just hungry game after game. Okay, we're going to smoke our cigar this week or today. Tomorrow we're back on the practice field and we're grinding towards the next opponent.
The thing is, what Joe Burrow is capable of doing to that locker room and to that team,
it's infectious for sure.
Is everybody that comes into that team is already going to be buying in, and they're going to drink the Kool-Aid without a doubt, because they already know and seen last year what Cincy did, and everybody's going to come in there and give 110% because they know they're the ones with the bullseye on the back. I just see that. That'll
be unique for Cincy as well, having the bullseye being the target this year.
I don't think that Joe Burrow is going to take a step back, and that relationship between Jamar Chase and Burrow, I've said it before, I'll say it again, is legendary. Mm-hmm. And we only got one season to see it. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to get to see another.
Yeah, we talked about halfway through the season and brought it up, or somebody brought it up. It looked very much in that early stage like Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
I brought it up.
You go, we got this first down. How many yards we need? Okay, go get it. Go get it. Bang. Go get it. Go get it. And it was just the
the best cornerback,
timing on the routes.
The best cornerback in the league, arguably, Jalen Ramsey couldn't cover him.
Oh no,
he could not cover him.
Made him look like. And honestly, if you watch the last play of the Super Bowl,
yeah, when he was streaking down,
the last play of the Super Bowl, he shook Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey ate the turf.
Yeah, he was
and
dogged.
He was wide open for a touchdown. Dogged. All Joe Burrow needed was a half a second, maybe a second.
Yep.
And maybe what they did with the O-line this year, that's enough.
Yeah. No,
that was a problem.
Play
happen.
That was a problem because
it was there.
You can't have Joe go down again. I mean,
Joe
he lost his rookie season to an injury. You don't want that.
Look, he is special.
Yeah.
And whether Baltimore fans want to hear this or not, hey, I apologize, but since he got the best quarterback in that division,
hands down.
That's who I'm riding with.
It's not even close.
That's who I'm riding with. They got the best signal caller. He's a beast. Okay?
And it's not even like stat wise. It's not even the it's everything else that guy brings to the field. And I seen it in LSU. That's why I was big on him coming out. And lots of, it's everything else he brings. His coolness, his demeanor, his confidence that he instills in people that are, almost twice his age. You know what I mean? So it's he's legit. He might not ever win MVP, but he's going to be Super Bowl talked all the time. As long as he has weapons around him, he's going to be able to lead teams.
And he's capable.
Wins.
Yeah. I mean,
what's your layout? I didn't get it, Charlie.
I like I said, I went with you guys. I still think Cleveland is third, Pittsburgh fourth.
Gotcha.
Depending on what happens with Cleveland, I mean, and maybe Mitchell Trubisky has they really could.
Right.
Cleveland without a quarterback
does
not impress me. It doesn't impress me at all.
It's the Cleveland of old.
There's lots of and then what does the rest of the team do? Because they've been talked about with Super Bowls, the past 2 years. Now all of a sudden you start having a bad season. Does that crumble? Can that be held up by Stefanski? Is there that system put in to hey, let's just get through this year. It's gonna be tough. Because some people, will fall apart on that. All right, well, we ain't going to do nothing this year. We lost Deshaun for the year. I'm going to go half gas. I'm going to go me.
I'm not going to get hurt.
People have to make business decisions.
Yep.
And we'll see how Cleveland holds up. Hopefully they do, because I think with Deshaun, they're legit. And I mean, you throw Deshaun with Cleveland in this already loaded AFC, and it's just
I like how you said that. It gets how the Bengals were the youth in the team, and they were hungry and ready every game. And then you got someone like Deshaun Watson supposed to come over to the team, and now he's all this, first week of the season is a week away, and I'm not playing.
Yeah, you can have people questioning the decision making. Okay, we just spent a bunch of money on this dude. You knew he had baggage. You knew he had baggage, and he might not be able to play. This is a whole year of my life.
And picks.
I want to win a Super Bowl. We were just on the doorstep. We almost beat KC to go to the Super Bowl, and now you're telling me just take a year off.
This is their livelihood. This is these guys' job. They go into work every day.
People can make different choices when things like adversity things do come up. I think that wraps up the North.
Let's get to the one we've been waiting for.
Southside.